Good afternoon and welcome to Two a Day on your Packer Link Up. Today is Friday, August 15th, and you're watching the 5 o'clock edition. Well, I might be in the doghouse with my mom. Yesterday I teased her in the opening Two a Day and then proceeded in the 10 o'clock edition to say the word butts 4 times. So that's the way to do mom proud. But hey, we'll just go on from there. Our top story today, to me, is becoming the top story, is once again back to the injury report. So let's go over this. As of Thursday, wide receiver Brett Swain with a quad contusion. Running back Ryan Grant, of course, has the hamstring problem. Safety Charlie Pepra with a hamstring. Linebacker A.J. Hawk with his chest injury. Linebacker Desmond Bishop with an Achilles injury. Offensive tackle Orrin Thompson has an ankle. Ryan Pickett has a hamstring. Torrey Humphrey has an Achilles. Greg Jennings has something with his knee that's not really a tear or anything, but just kind of soreness. Justin Harrell, of course, with the back, and KGB with his knee. Those are all out. Ruvel Martin has a slight concussion, but he was back at practice, and it looks like it'll be a game-time decision as to whether he actually plays. It doesn't look like Al Harris is back, according to training camp reports. He practiced, but he looks stiff. So Al Harris with a nagging injury that's been over more than one season now. And the question for these guys is not necessarily when they'll be back. They'll all be back. They're not major injuries, except for maybe Harrell. The question is, it's not if they'll be back, but when, and with time sort of ticking on right now, whether they'll have enough time to truly get completely rested and completely healed before the start of the regular season, which is when the toll is going to be taken as far as their performance is. So we'll have to keep up to date on that, but once again, it's a long list. It doesn't seem to be getting any shorter. Except for maybe Ruvel Martin, and he may play tomorrow, but it just isn't looking super good on that end, as opposed to last year, where other than our running backs, we seem to be doing fairly well. No cause for alarm, but we'll just keep an eye on it. Backup QBs didn't put in too great of a performance on Thursday. Brian Brohm threw an interception right after Mike McCarthy had said that Matt Flynn was closing the gap on him, and apparently the pass picked off by Charles Woodson would have been a touchdown the other way and just looked ugly. But Flynn also threw an interception to Woodson in 7-on-7 drills, so hopefully these two guys will start getting it together. Flynn looked fairly good in the Cincinnati game. It's all going to matter come down to how they play during the game. So, again, nothing to be super alarmed about. We're hoping that these guys don't necessarily have to take the field at all this season. But then again, there's a good chance they may see some playing time. So, one note, PackerChatters.com had an article that this goes back to the Brett Favre deal, the $20 million plus deal for Brett Favre to remain retired and be involved with the Packers in a new and exciting way. Well, apparently the deal with the Packers that Mark Murphy brought before him included merchandise line, autograph, personal appearances, and even a blog. So that was according to the Sporting News on Friday. So Brett Favre was apparently going to be brought on in some kind of an actual role, which is kind of a good thing. But it seemed there was like a hunting trip and a fishing trip, and it just seemed a little bit strange. And for a guy who said he wanted to play football, they really must have believed that he didn't want to play football, to think that he was going to, turn in his locker key for a hunting trip or a chance to sign autographs. Now, after Brett retires, it is possible, and I think this is a great thing, that they'll revisit this job, that he maybe come back to the Packers in that regard and do some things, sign some autographs, make a couple personal appearances a year, and then do a blog or whatever on top of it. And I think that's great because we know Brett is going to be one of those guys. He's going to have to be retired as a Packer. That's where he got all of his records. That's where he's going to be. That's how he's going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame, is as a Packer. Hey, I hope he gets another two. Well, if the Packers are there, I don't, but I hope he gets another chance at a couple Super Bowls. That'd be great. Just let the legacy grow, but retire him as a Packer. And if he can get over the personal stuff that's gone on, I know it's been tough on him. It's been tough on Ted Thompson, Mike Murphy as well. We'd love to see him signing autographs and coming back in a more personal role, because he apparently behind the scenes did a lot of work for kids with his Brett Favre Forward Foundation. He's a great guy outside the football field, not just a great football player. So I was glad to see that. Thought you might be interested in it. Finally, a Link Up Spotlight. There's a game day highlights tab that once again is, if you mouse over the media, it'll be the first tab at the top. Just click on Game Day Highlights. That will bring you to NFL.com's highlights of the previous game. If you have want to go back and look at anything, have a question on a play or a call, wonder if you remember things right, you don't have to go outside of Packer Link Up. Just mouse over media, click on the game day. It'll take you straight to that game day highlights video, and you can watch the whole thing. Make use of that, and we hope that you will frequent the site. And as always, and until 10 o'clock, go Pack.